Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Ivan Pan from the Foundation in Arts, and I would like to give out a complete overview of the Malaysian environment titled The Dilemma of the Malaysian Environmental Wellbeing. The first thing I'd like to introduce you is Malaysia consists of tropical rainforests and trees in the layer that can reach a total height of 60 to 70 meters. Furthermore, it covers the land area of 5.79 million hectares, where 4.89 million are forest reserves. Moving on, I'd also like to introduce you to the types of animals that can be found throughout the Malaysian ecosystem, such as orangutans, tigers, rhinoceros, tapirs, wild buffaloes, foxes, and leopards. Tiger is the world's largest cat species and can be found only in Southeast Asia regions, especially in Malaysia. And at the same time, I'd also like to note that according to the statistics of the International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN, the Bornean orangutan, the Malayan tiger, and the Malayan tapir are all classified as endangered species. So why do these problems exist? The main factor that causes these environmental issues is Malaysia's goal of achieving itself as a developed country that includes economical, political, and social development. Malaysia's declining environmental quality is caused by human irresponsibility and rapid development issues. Various project companies had used up lands and resources for agricultural, industrialization, and socialization development. Industrialization activities were carried out for governmental projects such as opening factories, and housing developments were built to suit different communities in Malaysia. Malaysia implemented policies to ensure the best planning and mechanism for achieving the goal of a developed country. And so, I identified 5 major issues of deforestation, soil erosion, air pollution, land reclamation, and waste management issues. First of all, Malaysia lost an estimated 8.6% of its forest cover because of non-controlled logging and land clearing for the palm oil sector between 1990 to 2010. According to sources, Malaysia had received financial support from the logging industry valued at US 2.1 billion and produced 85% of palm oil for the international markets. Illegal logging also resulted in the 2020-2021 Malaysian floods. And deforestation can be linked to the 2012 megawatts hydroelectric project in Kuala Berang from the beginning of 2010 to 2015, and it has alarmed the Worldwide Fund for Nature if there's the need to construct a dam that takes up an area 3 times larger than the normal size. Besides that, environmentalists are concerned that the project will potentially harm endangered wildlife. In addition, the policy of encouraging agriculture and development for mass tourism has led to devastating environmental issues, specifically in Cameron Highlands, Malaysia. For 30 years to come, Cameron Highlands' land cover have been heavily modified by project developments. Landslides and soil erosion might occur in sensitive highlands areas and will cause water pollution issues in most rivers. This is an illustration of Cameron Highlands' size area throughout the years. And based on the Pearson correlation coefficient, it has been discovered that the forests and natural areas in Cameron Highlands were reported to have decreased from 67 hectares in 1966 to 58 hectares in just 2010. Next up, the pollution case can be traced to industrial areas. And one of them is an illegal smelting factory in the Bukit Selambal industrial area in Sungai Petani, Kedah. According to the residents, the smelting factory in the area has been linked to air pollution. Smelting produces wastewater and slag that gives away poisonous metals into the atmosphere with the release of sulfur dioxide gas that contributes to overall air pollution and causes acid rain. And we will also have to talk about land reclamation, which is also known as the scientific term for creating artificial man-made islands, and it is the process of creating new land from oceans, seas, riverbeds, or lake beds. The land reclaimed is known as a landfill, and it involves filling the area with rocks and cement, and then adding clay and soil until we obtain the desired height. So this can be directly traced to a project set back in the year 2020, in which a Danish architectural group collaborated with the Penang state government to undergo a land reclamation project named Biodiversity. 4,500 acres of islands had been completely buried under the area and will result in local fishers being forced to sell further and then increasing their risk of danger, which will do more harm than good. Finally, this is a report about Malaysia's waste management issues, and it gives out an insight into the year 2015, in which household, industrial, and commercial waste generated 38,000 tons per day, and 88.8% went to landfills. Since 2005, Malaysia produced about 7.34 million tons of solid waste, and only 30% are possibly recyclable, but only 3 to 5% were artificially processed. It is worth mentioning that there are Malaysian companies that have been importing trash from foreign countries. Besides that, a 2011 nationwide survey has shown that the household recycling rate in Malaysia is around 9.7%. Malaysia's capital, Kuala Lumpur, with an estimated population of 1.66 million people in 2009, and it has produced household waste of around 0.8 to 1.3 kilograms per day, which adds up to an average of 3,500 tons of waste per day. And it is also worth mentioning and telling that China has launched the National Sword Policy in January 2018 to ban plastic waste imports. Since then, imports of plastic waste into Malaysia have skyrocketed. Malaysia imported 195,000 tons of plastic waste from the United States from January to July 2018, in comparison to a total of 97,000 tons from January to November 2017, according to a Greenpeace report. Therefore, measures had to be implemented to reduce the adverse effects of environmental pollution, which might negatively affect the healthy lifestyle of all citizens, as well as Malaysia's economic and international status. First of all, the already developed and ongoing industry should think of a sustainable way of operating their sectors. One of the approaches is to embrace electrification. Using electricity as the main source of energy, electrification substitutes technologies that run on fossil fuels. Carbon dioxide emissions can be minimized from vehicles, buildings, and industrial areas via electrification. Eliminating these emissions from sectors is crucial in decarbonizing the economy and alleviating and mitigating the impacts of climate change. This can induce more industries to go green, and it reduces any unwanted air pollution. To solve deforestation and soil erosion issues, the government should implement proper city and landscape management to ensure that geographical spaces can be appropriately utilized. Moreover, it also reduces any additional waste of construction and human resources, as well as the number of forests being exploited. It can also minimize land reclamation problems when locations are correctly pinpointed and chosen, and then use it as a way to develop the country and help the nations in need. Last but not least, Malaysia has to think of a way to innovate eco-friendly waste management systems. Take our neighboring country, for example, Singapore, which features a solid waste disposal infrastructure and consists of 4 waste-to-energy plants. At the same time, it is good to say that Malaysia has a few sustainable brand names to mention, which is Muni, a local fashion brand company, Green Tech, Econikes, The Hive, and Sabah's own private eco company, Nutriba. Finally, Malaysia has agreed to a mandate of the United Nations that charts a developmental path that balances economic growth with social inclusion and environmental sustainability. So, to sum up everything, unity is the key to changing everything, including environmental issues. It is crucial to understand that the nation must share a cemented goal to change and transform our surroundings, environment, and motherland into a first-class living zone. We must rectify Malaysia into a first-class oasis by eliminating all unwanted pollutants that will act as an ultimate threat to our country. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you again.